So this is the second time I made this floating style of miter station. This time it's against an unfinished wall, so it's pretty straightforward to attach the horizontals directly to the studs. Although the last time I made this, it was against a finished wall, and basically the same floating design still works great. I'm just using a laser here to help me get everything level. But I can't help double check with an old-fashioned level, and it's all good. This first section here is the shelf that the saw will sit on. I'm not gluing it up. The clamp is just to help hold things in place while I attach some screws. Here I didn't pre-drill the hole and got a split out near the end of the board. I should know better than that, so I'm pre-drilling the rest of the holes. I'm setting up this miter station in what I'd consider a temporary shop, so it's not going to be quite as full-featured as the last one that I did. And I'll do some comparisons of the difference in features to my previous miter station build along the way in this video. I just moved into this place and my wood shop is all in boxes and just sitting on the floor. My goal is to get the whole place set up and start doing projects as fast as possible, but I do want a really quality miter station that'll be accurate and true. Again, I'm using the laser to build it perfectly level. This thing's really cool. It has a mount for a normal camera tripod, but it comes with this little mount that uses magnets to stick it on anything metal, like these shelves or my toolbox or even the metal strip on a drywall corner. It's only like $30. There's a lot of these brands. I'm sure they're all equally as good, but I'll leave a link in the description of the specific one that I'm using if you're interested. I'd like to make use of the space underneath the bench for storage, and I think it's just a whole lot more flexible use of space not to have a bunch of legs. So I'm using these angled supports that'll be more than strong enough. Oh, I did use 2 legs, which will help me get the proper height of the saw shelf relative to the wings. I'll expand on that a bit in just a minute. But for now, I'm only attaching the legs to the side wing shelves and not to the shelf that the saw will sit on. Attaching the faceboards is the last step in finishing out the framing. Bought these pre-cut 2-foot by 4-foot pieces of plywood. The wings are 21 inches deep, so I have to cut off 3 inches, which I'll use as a backsplash. One wing is 4 feet long, so it fits as is, but the other side is a bit shorter, so I get out my crosscut sled to cut it to the proper length. I'm using pocket hole screws to attach the top to the frame. I had pre-drilled the screw holes with this pocket hole jig before I started framing the pieces. At one point, I thought about just driving screws through the top surface, but I do want to use this as a workbench also, and I'd like a good flat work surface without any ugly screw heads. Just using a brad nailer here to tack on the backsplash pieces. My particular miter saw has some notches in the feet that allow it to sit nicely over some 2x4s, so I'm taking advantage of that to keep the design super simple. On my previous miter station, I used a piece of plywood as a base, which was needed because I had a dust collection chute built in. I'm not doing dust collection on this miter station. So the wings of the miter station need to match exactly the height of the top of the saw, or better yet, sit just a smidgen below the surface. As I mentioned earlier, I've not yet secured the floating tray that holds the saw, so I can now make a fine adjustment to get it the perfect height, and then fasten it with screws to the same leg that's supporting the wings. At this point, this miter station is level, true, and very functional. It has the critical basics of what's important in a miter station. You want the saw platform to fully support the workpiece, so the wings sit, maybe a 32nd of an inch below the surface, and there is no fence on the wings. Intentionally, I don't want it, because if there's any bow in a longer workpiece, I don't want it to pull away from the fence near the saw blade. I had added T-track and measuring tape to my previous miter station, and it sat just below the surface of the wings, and I used it all the time. The measuring tape was perfectly calibrated and trustworthy, and especially anytime I needed to make multiple cuts of the same length, the T-track stop was super useful. So I may likely add that to my new miter station soon. I had built this dust collection chute on my previous miter station, and it was completely useless until I later built a shroud around the saw. So you can see here that with the shroud, the dust collection did work much better. Let's see again in slow mo how the sawdust is sucked away. I'm going to miss having dust collection on this new miter station. The wings are mostly a floating design and allow for flexible storage below the miter station for things like my planer, my drill press, and an air compressor. And the wings also make a good work surface. As I mentioned earlier, this is a temporary space for my wood shop. I'll be in the space for about a year while my new shop is being built. And there are no cabinets or storage of any type for my tools here. I decided I'm going to try out a cheap approach and just do some simple open shelves. These angle brackets are something like $10 a piece at Home Depot, so I bought these online for about $2 each, which I'll of course link in the description. So I was able to build the miter station, completely unpack and move into this new shop in just a couple of days and ready to start doing projects again. I'm a little nervous about the open shelves and all the sawdust that's going to collect on 'em, all my tools, and not having them in closed cabinets. But overall, I'm stoked to have my small wood shop up and running again. Thanks so much for watching.